Hello and welcome back to the Film Custodian Show here on the Filmist Universe YouTube channel. And this is the review show. So this is the show where I review movies, TV shows, probably eventually video games. There's some video game stuff already kind of mixed in there with like The Last of Us and whatnot. Go watch those videos, they're pretty good. So I'm going to get on here and talk about a film that I didn't think I was going to talk about or even watch or even give two craps about, but it is Underwater. And when people say it's basically Alien underwater, it's like, kind of, yeah. It's the space movie that takes place underwater, and then ends up with like huge Cthulhian-looking monsters at the end. Yeah, this movie was pretty wild, and you know what? I kind of liked it. Yes, like I never thought I would say that. This is a Kristen Stewart movie where Kristen Stewart is the best part. Yeah, that's right. I said it. She's pretty good in this movie. She's good with the action. She carries the story. She carries herself. She carries everybody else. She's believable. She's good. And I think that the way that I'm surprised right now that she's actually a good actress in this film, or a good actress altogether, really, because she's just so dull and terrible in the Twilight films, because those films are terrible, right? I'm kind of in the same boat now that if you haven't seen a Robert Pattinson movie outside of the Twilight films, you believe that he's a terrible actor, right? But I've seen The Lighthouse, which is a freaking masterpiece. But I've also seen, Good Time. I mean, I've seen the films that he's done outside of Twilight, and he's a fantastic actor. I mean, obviously, I've seen The Batman. I think he's a very good Batman, right? A lot of characters can play either a good Bruce Wayne or a good Batman. It's hard to find one that can do both. I think Michael Keaton does it well. I think Christian Bale does it well. And I think for this particular version of the Batman, which is more, film noirish, more detective, more really taking Batman to his roots, with the Batman, Robert Pattinson does a great job. He's in the suit most of the movie, Batman doing Batman stuff. He's being Batman, right? And now the Bruce Wayne aspect of his character, his fake persona where he's more of a playboy and stuff, that kind of comes out later. That'll something like for Batman 2 or Batman 3. Luckily we're getting the Batman 2. Yeah. But anyway, there's time for him to shine with that. Look at that, going on a rant about the Batman. That's because it's awesome. It's really great. But anyway, so back to Underwater. So Underwater, what else do we have? So I think, the style of it is pretty great. It reminds me actually of the video game, Star Wars video game, KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, where there's some underwater scenes where you're in a suit underwater and you're kind of having to trudge from one part of this underwater station on the planet Manan. If you're a Star Wars nerd, you've probably played this game and you know what planet I'm talking about. And you go from A to B, and I'm like, they must have played this video game. Yeah, I'm sure Underwater was inspired by Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, sure. Well, sure, why not? Why not, right? Star Wars is great. Okay, so, yeah, I think Kristen Stewart does a pretty good job. It's the story of, they're down in the Marianas Trench, the deepest parts of the ocean. We don't know what's down there. They're drilling for stuff, it's sometime in the future, and now they've awakened something. They've awakened the monsters. And so, the very beginning, they dive right into it. Like the first 5 minutes, the station is destroyed and it's all coming down. And now Kristen Stewart has to run around and find survivors. She unfortunately finds T.J. Miller. T.J. Miller is supremely annoying. He's kind of in the vein of like a Seth Rogen, where it's just, you guys, I have this stuffed animal because I'm a weirdo. Isn't it funny? Look at it. It's funny. It's like, just shut up and go away. You're an idiot. He almost ruined the movie. Luckily, he died like a little bit halfway through. Yeah, spoilers, who cares? Yeah, he dies, which was great. One of the best parts of the film. Yeah, it's just supremely annoying. Everybody else was pretty decent. I think it's Vincent Cassel. He's a very good actor. Kind of plays a captain. This is it is kind of a throwaway film. I mean, it's definitely not Alien. It's been compared to Alien. It probably was inspired by Alien, but it's not a masterpiece like that. It's by no means a masterpiece. It's kind of a throwaway movie. I was curious. I almost went to see it in the theaters, but it came out in 2020, so that was a little bit difficult. So I saw the film. I thought it was pretty good. I actually enjoyed this film. I would give it I'd give it a 7 out of 10, I guess, if I had to give it anything. I think Kristen Stewart does very well. It kind of makes me want to see her in other stuff. Almost. I probably won't, though. But yeah, it's pretty good. There's some pretty good, decent action in there. There's some the underwater scenes are actually done very well. There's some blood and gore. It's done very well. I think it acts as it's a good sci-fi. It's also a decent horror film. The creatures are pretty interesting. Like I say, you get like some Cthulhu basically shows up at the end. Minor spoilers, whatever. The film's been out a couple years. Yeah, 7 out of 10. It's not. I didn't mind it at all. I thought it was pretty good. So, all right. Yeah, that's all I got to say on that.